Okay. Speak again, Gaelle. I think your speaker's gone off.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, right. Can you see my screen? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so today, thank you for inviting me once again. It's always a pleasure to be here. And today I'm going to talk about how to make a sale or how to make sales with a small audience. Okay. So introducing myself as always, my name is Gaelle Mokoy and I'm a client attraction expert. I have 14 years experience in marketing, working with small to medium businesses internationally. And a brief description, I focus on businesses in their first 3 years of business that start, pivot and scale their business up by attracting the right audience and accessing their ideal client. So today we're talking about a small audience. So what is a small audience specifically on social media? Okay, so what we are now calling vanity metrics. Okay, the number of followers that you have, etc. It's now known as vanity metrics, but for a while it was seen as a very, very important number. So a small audience on social media, when you think audience size, think like this. So you are a small audience or a nano, I'm going to say influencer for lack of a better word, because if you have less than 10,000 followers, you are a micro influencer. If you've got 10,000 to 50,000, and then you're a macro influencer if you've got over 500,000 plus. There's not really a term for the 50,000 to 500,000, but you can still like place them in the micro group. And the reason why those numbers were put together is because since maybe 2017, 2018, like we've seen a shift of people sort of, yes, they follow the larger influencers, they follow the celebrities, etc. But we've also noticed that they follow the smaller people, so the nano and the micro, and they interact with them more. In fact, they make more of an effort because they feel like they can relate to them more. Whereas if they have more followers or if they're celebrities, people kind of know that they are there to make money, they are there to promote their stuff. Whereas the smaller influencers or the businesses with smaller following seem to be more genuine and more authentic. Okay, so the pros and cons of a smaller audience. Let me just make that bigger because I feel like you may not be able to see that. Oops. There we go. So the pros, of course, it's easier to connect with your audience personally and individually. So if you have a smaller audience, it's easier to talk to them. It's easier to connect with them. It's easier to have conversations with them, whether it's on your page, whether it's through your reels, whether it's through your DMs. Okay, so it's an opportunity to build a community quicker. So communities are definitely important, especially for us coaches, because you want people that understand you and you understand them, and you will be able to help them better. So the opportunity to build a community quicker is very good for when you have a small audience. More and better learning opportunities for yourself and for your audience as well. So the smaller your audience is, the more you can learn about them, how to sell to them, how to please them, how to provide the right information for them. And sorry, spelling mistake there, but you've got better engagement and a higher return on investment. So the smaller your audience, when you spend time with them, when you spend energy, when you spend money on them, your return on investment would be a lot higher. And by the way, if you have any questions, do let me know and I will, I will reply to them right away. Okay, and please tell me if you can still see my screen. Yes, it's still sharing. Okay. Okay, so next, the cons now. Like I said, the number of followers is a vanity metric on social media. And that's not just on Instagram, but that's on every platform, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, and now TikTok as well. I'm not too big on sort of, what is it called? On Clubhouse. So I'm sure that this could be happening on Clubhouse as well, but I'm not too sure. So it may be, you may be seen as not, you may not be seen as a qualified brand or business by potential sponsors and partners. So some organizations, some businesses still look at the number of followers that you have before they interact with you, before they contact you, before they make an effort with you, because to them, the more followers you have, the higher of a reach they can get, which makes sense. But if, let's say, 10,000 people sees them, and those 10,000 people have a better interaction with them than if you had 100,000 people seeing them. You know, that's the great thing about having a small audience, but some businesses don't see it that way. They just think, okay, they have 1 million followers, great, we have 1 million potential customers. But they don't see the type of interactions and the type of community that you built and the type of communication that you have with your audience. Building the first 1,000 to 10,000 followers is always the hardest. Okay, so I remember reaching 1,000. It took me something like 2 to 2.5 years, and then eventually building to 2,000 happened a lot quicker. But building the first 1,000 to 10,000 followers on any platform, in fact, is always the hardest. Okay, it can be hard to place yourself as a big player when others view you as a small fish. So especially for us coaches, like I said, those vanity metrics can sometimes play with your brain, because people are thinking, well, why should I follow you, or why should I listen to you because you've got 2,000 followers? When in fact, the bigger names out there have the tens of thousands, the 50,000, the 100,000 followers, the millions. You know, what is it that you do better than they do? I would rather go to them because such an amount of people are following them, and such an amount of people must be right. Okay. But small audience or not, you can still make the right money. Okay, you can still make money from your audience, and the way to do that is, of course, by niching down. Okay, so making sure that you segment yourself and you find the right people that need your products and services, and then you build your community within that. Okay, you find your people that understand you, that understand your quirks, and that understand your products and how they work, and how those products and services fit into their lifestyle. And that's, of course, finding your ideal client. You know, they need your product, they need your services, your price points is right. You are, you know, fixing their pain points and being present and active for your ideal client. And what do I mean by that is being present, of course, on social media platforms, being present, of course, via email as well, and being active in the sense that you are always on their mind. So you always keep on popping up, always, you know, whether it's a post that will help them or whether it's an advert that you put out there, you know, being present and active for them is very important. And also, so what does a small audience mean in terms of targeting, engagement, and reach? By the way, let me know if I'm going too fast, because I rehearsed this quite well. So let me know if I'm going too fast, okay? So what does a small audience mean in terms of targeting, engagement, and reach? So you reach the same amount of people as those with larger accounts, if not more. What I mean by that is, let's take, for example, let me think, The Rock. Okay, he has a very large audience on Instagram and every other one of his platform, but let's just take Instagram, because as businesses, I know that we're all very active on Instagram to make sure that we provide the right type of information, etc., for our audience in order to make sales. He has a large audience on Instagram, so he reaches around 1 to 3% of that audience. Okay, and within the 1 to 3% of that audience, a further 0.1 of that audience, you know, will buy whatever he's selling. So whether he's talking about his own brand of tequila, whether he's talking about the sportswear that he sponsors, whether he's talking about the movies, you know, 0.1 of that audience will make an effort to buy or look into what he is promoting. Whereas if you have a smaller audience, you will reach, what I mean by the same amount of people is, you will reach the same number if not more. So you will reach the same 1%, you will reach the same 1% to 3%, if not perhaps up to 5% of your audience, because you are smaller and because the way you will promote your stuff will seem more authentic. It will seem more closer to home, to the people that are following you. I hope all of that is making sense to you. If it's not, please let me know. If you have any questions also, please do let me know. Okay, I was just checking for questions. So the audience is looking for authenticity. They know and are aware that the larger accounts on social media platform have a different agenda. So they know about influencer marketing. They are aware of, you know, the Kim Kardashians, The Rock, the Beyonce. They know that they are selling products. Whereas when you are a smaller influencer, or you have a smaller audience, yes, you could be selling something, but it will not be they will not see it as being part of your agenda. Basically, they will see it as it being closer to home. They will see it as having a conversation with a friend, with somebody that they know. And I think that's why, and I'm just referring to influencer marketing because that's sort of the research that I've known and I studied. When it comes to influencer marketing, people, you know, the audience prefers smaller influencers. Why? Because they see them as themselves. So they see them as people like them because they do not have the thousands, hundreds of followers, etc. They see them as more attainable. They see them as being closer. Okay, so eventually your engagement and your reach is higher, like I said before. And because the audience is more attentive to you, your strategies need to be in place to turn your followers into clients. Okay, and how do you do that? You need to focus on education-based marketing, something that we're already doing. I mean, I've seen Sami with Michael, I've seen Mary do it, I've seen myself, I've done it as well, and of course you're doing it with ABC. You share industry-based knowledge, so industry that you know is used in the industry-based knowledge that you know is used in the industry that can help your audience. Okay, when you help your audience, you then position yourself as an expert. By positioning yourself as an expert, you then build trust. Okay, and trust is what will definitely turn your followers into clients, because they look at you and think, yes, this person knows what they're talking about. They're always delivering. They're always telling me what I need and what's important for my business, or, you know, through their services as well. So when you're building trust there, you are definitely positioning yourself as someone that's important in the industry, and that's more important than any other vanity metric. So that's more important than the number of followers that you do have. That's more important than the number of likes that you're getting, and that's more important than the number of views that you're getting on reels or on lives, etc., etc. Okay, and education-based marketing is educating the client on the what, and they will pay for the how. So I feel like when we educate our potential clients on the what, we are giving them a lot. Telling them what they need to do is very important. It's very, very important, just as important as the how. When we tell them what to do, we are telling them what to do through sort of the different aspects of our expertise. And when we're doing that, we are definitely giving them a lot of information in different stages as well. Okay, so the what that you can tell them, or the what that I sort of talk about within my expertise, sort of on social media and via email as well. I talk about industry terminology, so certain things that they need to know, you know, that they will hear often, that will definitely make their job or their lives easier in their business if they know them. The methodology, so there's different type of methods in marketing. There's some that work better for social media, some that work better online, some that work better offline, some that are great for their website, some that are great for their email marketing if they choose to do that. So the different methodologies that are very important. And then I talk about strategies as well. What are those strategies? What are the strategies that I use, that I've used in the present, that I've used in the past, that I am using in the present, excuse me, that I've used in the past, and that I will be using in the future as well. I talk about those strategies. And of course, I also talk about achievement and successes that are attainable, so that I can show them what they can do, the way that they can succeed in their business through that. And of course, the how is the stuff that they pay for. So how does the industry affect their business? The methodologies, how do they use those methods in their business? The strategies, how do they implement those strategies in their business in order for their business to be successful? And achievement of successes that are attainable, how that will change their lives. Okay, this is what they pay for. So going back to the what, this is what I show them on a day-to-day basis. And I show that via email, I show that on social media, I show that, of course, through lives. I show that in a multitude of ways, through podcasts, etc., etc. And the how is, of course, what they pay me to teach them, to show them, to help them attain. Okay, and this is just a little bit about me, showing that, having a small audience is not the worst thing in the world, because with less than 3,000 followers, I was published internationally. I worked with a French-based magazine for over 5 years. I've helped 35 businesses, and I've used proven strategies in over 5 industries. And yes, that is the presentation. Thank you so much for listening. Do you have any questions?
Oh, Gaelle, wow, that was right bang on time. I can see you're seasoned at delivering this one. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's really interesting, actually, for me, even refreshing and going over stuff, because again, there's things here that I thought, oh yeah, I hadn't thought about that for a while, or I'm not doing that anymore. So it's been really good in terms of small audiences. I think and actually the way you've defined the small audiences as well, I think is quite interesting. In terms of size, I mean, I'd love to be I can't remember what 3 of them were, but I'd like to be the big one. But obviously it does take time, and I think people do get put off when they think it's going to be overnight, like you're going to post one thing and it will go viral and you'll have like thousands of people overnight. I'm glad you said, and I think more of us should share our stories about how long it actually takes to build an audience. And it's not instant. You do have to be consistent and keep going, I think. And I think that makes quite a big difference.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, in my first couple of years as a business, I used to think that way. Like, why are people not liking my posts? Why are people not sharing? I don't understand. But of course, the consistency has become the thing that is very important. And like I said, like me and Mary have this conversation all the time. I do not care for followers anymore. I do not care if people follow or unfollow me, because I know that the people who need to see what I've got to offer are still there. So if I lose 10 followers, 100 followers tomorrow, I'm really not fussed anymore. I think over the course of last year, because I was off social media completely, I lost something like 500-600 followers, and it's completely okay.
Yeah. And I like the way you've redefined it as like vanity metrics, because it is and it isn't, and some people get so caught up on that side of it, they lose the other side of it. So yeah, I think that's quite easy. What would be a more telling method, a more telling kind of metric now then to go for in terms of audience?
The sales that you made. Like I used to tell this story all the time on my Instagram. There was this influencer whose name I forgot, and it was quite big, like in the marketing world at the time when it happened. She had something like 150,000 followers, and she created this this fashion brand. It was quite plain, quite natural fashion brand that she put a lot of effort in, etc. And it has something like 50 pieces, 50 different styles, and she couldn't even sell one piece, and she had to close down within 3 months. But she had 150,000 followers. So just to prove the number of followers is absolutely does not mean if you do not know how to sell to them.
I can give an example. I have two Instagram, and one has 2,000 followers and one has 10,000 plus followers. It doesn't mean that they're both selling, but the amount of messages I get on the 2,000 followers, yeah, it's so much compared to the one that has 10,000 followers. So, and I used to panic about it so much before, but now I'm like, you know what? It doesn't really matter because it can give you anxiety. So like seeing this thing and just being reminded that, you know what, you don't really need to go on about followers. Followers are really nothing. So thank you, Gayle. It was really nice to hear it and see it in writing.
Of course. I mean, I used to ask this question as well, like on my posts, is what's your number? I'll get to you in a second, Mary. What's your number? The way you sat down, like she's ready for me with her questions. But basically, what's your number? So in terms of followers, what will make you happy? What's your number? And people used to answer 5,000, 10,000, 50,000. Okay, but are you able to sell to the ones that you have now? Are you able to sell to people who are following you right now? You want God knows how many followers, but the ones that you have, are you taking care of them? Are you selling to them? Are you doing what's right for them? Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Go ahead, Mary.
I wasn't going to come for you with questions. I was going to keep agreeing with you. I just want to make comments, you know. So everything you said, I agree 1,000%. You know, like you rightly said, we've been talking about this a long time. And I don't blame people for wanting that vanity, because I've had experience where somebody has asked somebody about their service and they say, "Are you on Instagram?" For example, oh yeah, we are, and they saw the person was like on 300 and something followers, and I, oh, you don't have that much followers, and I made like snarky comments, and like, if you know how good this person is, and if you know how much they're making, you will not make that stupid comment, right? A lot of people have perceived, you know, they've perceived the number of followers to know how good you are, right? And as a question I'm always asking as well, and Gayle knows why this was like, do you want 10,000 followers or do you want 10,000 pounds in your account? So if you have 11,000 followers and you're not making money, my dear, what are you doing? Right? And obviously, Gayle has said a lot of things about how you need to get those people. For me, is focus on your focus, right? Once you're doing the right thing and you like change your perspective. What you're going to do on Instagram. If it's a personal page, then I understand you can do whatever. But if it's a business, then your focus is not about how many followers I gain, even though it helps the algorithms, yeah. But it's about how much impact you're making, right? And that impact would then turn into sales. Like again, an example like Gigi was talking about. I have 11K plus followers, but I'm not gonna say that. Oh, I'm making sales, but at the same time, I'm not getting like 100 or 200 people liking my post, for example, right? So, but it doesn't mean I'm not making sales at the same time. So it's there, but what people look out for, the real people, right? That what they look out for is your authenticity, is your consistency, you know, is the fact that you're giving value as a business owner. I don't care for Instagram numbers. And yeah, you might think it's something to say because I have 11,000 followers, but to me, it's even cumbersome. It's a lot of work because, and like Gayle rightly said, look, you have 20 people. You've not been able to convert those 20 people. So what makes you think you can convert 11,000 people?
Yeah.
I don't know. If you can't convert 10 people, my dear, you might as well stay off Instagram or just intensify your effort. You're not going to convert 11,000. Do you know how to manage them? Do you know how to turn it to a community? So it's all about that impact. As a business owner, I'm always teaching making impact while making income, of course. Make that impact. And people, I always link it to people say, I'm not sales, I don't like to sell, you know, those things, you know, but you want to be a business owner. But the thing is, when you give value, you actually won't sell. You actually attract. You won't actually look for people. People actually come to you and buy what you're selling. Some of these people, they're different levels of buyers. Some people are instant buyers. Some people are lurkers. They're watching you. They're seeing whether you're still going to be there next month, whether you're still going to be there next week, or whether you just like, you come today, we don't see until 3 months, your consistency is low. So they're not going to be with you because they think if she's not consistent like that, how would she be? What kind of result would she get me? Right? So it's, for me, just go with your value. Deliver is when I always say is when you're not good at something, you start looking for something else to compensate, which is like the likes of, followers, because you think that validates how good you are, but it doesn't. I've seen a lot of people that have a lot of followers, but they're quite empty and surface-ish. Like they're not in depth. So as a business owner, focus on the value you bring, because that's what people are going to pay for. That's what they're going to. So it doesn't matter how many people are following you. Half of them are even ghost followers.
Yes.
They're ghost followers. And if you're if this thing is important to you, I was telling the client on Monday, if it's important to you, you have to work for it. Instagram is built for social networking. You cannot just post and go. You have to network online, on social media. That is the job. And that's why Mark created it. So you can't just post on your page and expect people to just keep liking you without you networking. Go on people's page, people that have your ideal clients, go on their page, socialize, comment on people's stories, comment on their posts, let them know who you are. There is one Mary Fash here, come check me out. And when they come check you out, that's how they know there's someone called Mary on the streets. I like what she's saying. I like her posts. I'm going to like some of her posts. And if you get to a point, you know what? I'm really, really loving this girl. I'm going to follow her. If you really, really want followers, and then if you cannot do that because you have a day job, you're too busy because, yes, you need time for Instagram or social media. If you cannot do that, then that's why there's the idea of paid ads. Pay ads. So like there's this pyramid of where you have time, you have what you want, you have time, you have money. If you don't have, so one of them buys each other. So if you don't have money, you use your time. If you don't have the time, use your money. So if you don't have the time to actually socialize and show me that the way the creator made it be, then you have to spend money, which is where the paid ads come from. And trust me, paid ad, if you've done right, you will get the results. And if you don't have the money, then you have to spend that 1 hour, 2 hours a day socializing. If your focus is about engaging, socializing, getting new people to see a page, dragging them to see it, you have to do that work. It doesn't come overnight. It doesn't come without doing anything. A lot of businesses are lazy, if I may use that word.
Yeah,
we post
right.
and we leave and we say, oh, check my page out. But then you've not done that to other people. You've not checked other people's page out. You've not commented. You've not reacted. You've not socialized. You've not given your own perspective on their posts. So, but you want people to follow you, but they don't even know who you are. They don't know whether you exist.
True.
That's just my 2 cents. I'm gonna drop my mic. Sonny.
Thank you, Sammy. Over to you.
Can you guys see me, hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yes.
Cool. Sorry, I was undecided trying to tell my son good night. Yeah, first of all, fabulous session. Gayle and I were actually on an IG live not so long before, and Gayle has jumped here again. I'm like, oh my God, you have all the powers in the world, don't you?
I'm on fire tonight.
I know, but it's been a really valuable session. Just a few things I wrote down. I think one very important, and I do agree with everything that Gayle has shared. I think one of the first things I'll say is that everybody actually starts with a small audience anyway, regardless of how big they might look now. So it is a journey. Even the biggest of audiences will still be bigger tomorrow. And anyone who looks like they've got a small audience today will grow at some point. But one thing I always like to remind anyone who feels like they have a small audience, they can't do much with it, you can actually do a lot with it. And one of those things is to build loyal members. If you have very few people, reach out to them. Oh, hi. Remind them of the value that you are adding, engage them, ask them what they would like to see, why they connected with you. There's a reason why anyone hit that follow button. I mean, you get the occasional people that followed you because they want you to follow them back. That's different. But genuinely, there will be some people who have seen something that resonates with, seen something on your page or your profile that resonates with them. So it's really important that we continue to genuinely build connections with the few that you have. I mean, if you are not able to manage a small community, why do you deserve a bigger community anyway? You know, so it all starts, it gives you that opportunity to actually build that experience as well. I think the second thing I wanted to say as well is that there's always this debate of okay, tell me one sec. Okay, I'll close it. Okay, so there's always this debate of vanity metrics, this and that and stats and all that. And I do understand. When I managed the social media platforms for my alumni association, I was vice president of corporate communication. So I had access to a lot of the back end, and I'm talking about the inside tools. There are so many tools that Instagram has given, and I'm using Instagram as an example. A lot of people don't realize. What are your top posts with interactions? What are the ones that have the greatest reach? You know, like if only brands, individuals can actually look at their insights, they will start to understand which ones are actually reaching more people, which ones are resonating with others, which are like, it's so funny. And sometimes it might feel like a hit and miss, but you have to be consistent anyway. Something strange happened this week, and I decided that, okay, for a change, I'm going to do a bit more reels. And I did one very short video clip. I don't know if anyone saw it, on how someone can call you for a job, and they're telling you to come into the office 5 days a week. And I didn't even realize people are going to like it. But what actually surprised me was that someone actually copied that video and went to post it on their page. What am I saying? Show up, do what you're doing, connect with your audience, keep relating, and continue to study your insights as well, okay, to see what is actually making a difference in your community. The third thing I was going to mention as well is customers are even more enlightened now. I was trying to deliver some sort of service to a business, and she was saying she didn't have any sales. And I looked on her page and I saw these fantastic images and captions and posts, and she had lots and lots of followers, and she had almost no comments, no interactions, no likes, and something was really obvious there. That's probably an account that's probably bought followers, you know, or they didn't get them organically. And my point is, customers know. Customers are more enlightened. When they go to a page, they can tell if you're trying to fool them. They can tell. So why do you want to appear untrustworthy anyway? So I'm just trying to say this for us to realize that customers will not necessarily measure us because of the number of people that are following us. They're going to judge you because of the value that you give anyway. That's what will resonate with them. And the last thing I was going to say is that it is better to have high engagement and few audience than large audience and no engagement. It is the engagement that translates into anything. It is engagement that translates into awareness. It is engagement that translates into interactions, that translates into sales, that translates into anything that your business can benefit from. So engagement is super important. And even as a small business, or as a business that has a small audience, you can still leverage on it to be able to benefit from those opportunities as well. Those would be my points. Thanks.
Thank you, Sammy. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Everything you said is completely spot on, and I don't have anything to add.
Yeah, thank you, Sammy. Yeah, that's really insightful as ever.
Always, yes.
Everyone.
Yeah.
G, did you have any? Do you have any questions? Do you have any? Whereabouts are you at? Are you still here?
Sorry, I'm here.
Hello. I was wondering, did you have any questions about any of that?
No, it's quite lovely. It's been explained nicely, so no problem at all. And whatever everybody has chipped in, Mary chipped in, I think Sammy, I hope I got that right. Yes. Chipped in, and truly, it's just right. So I can't agree more. Yep.
Oh, fantastic. We did have Jennifer join us for a second, but I don't know what happened. She was here. I was going to ask her if she had any questions or anything, but it seems like she's been locked out again. Well, if we've come to the end, I want to say a big thank you to you, Gaelle. I'll try and find you next week when you're on Instagram. Yeah, so my notifications on. I turned a lot of my notifications off a little while ago, but I'll turn them on so I can catch you, because that would be really, really good. We will confirm the date for the next one, because I know Mary's going to be busy next week. Very exciting. And if you jump onto the website or check in the WhatsApp group, just to find out what more we've got. We've got lots of other stuff coming up. We've still got spaces at the business clinics if you want to book a session. Be good. I'm still going around. It might be nice, Gigi, to have a conversation with you. That's one thing I've been doing. I've been reaching out all to members and having a little chat, see how everyone's doing. So if you're
Yeah,
up for
definitely.
that, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, I'll message you directly, and we'll work out a time to find out where you're at, see how you're doing, and
Awesome.
we'll see you all on the next webinar.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank
you for your time
you.
tonight. It's wonderful seeing you all.
Good
Gaelle,
everyone.
thank
Have a
you.
wonderful evening.
Thank you, Sammy.
Bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
All right, bye.